What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, I'm going to try out a Pokemon that every time I use it, I feel just a little bit dirty, but it's such a strong Pokemon, and that is Shadow Annihilate. This Pokemon is one of the only good fighting-type Pokemon in the game, basically the only good counter user left in the meta, and because it has access to Rage Hits, which always boosts its attack stat, as well as Ice Punch, very good coverage, and that great fighting and ghost typing, this Pokemon is very hard to take down. I'm going to pair it up with Corviknight as well as Unova and Stunfisk, so let's get into the battles and see what this team can do. Okay, first game. We have our Corviknight as our lead into a Cradily. Pretty neutral matchup here. My Ufisk does like avoiding this, but my Annihilate is a little bit scared about what might be in the backline, because if there's a thing weak to fighting in the lead, then odds are there's going to be something in the backline I'd rather see with my Corviknight and not with my Annihilate, so we'll see what they want to do. I go for the Air Cutter right before the first Rock Tomb, that way I'm not debuffed first. Might get a boost. I do actually, which means now I'm going to be at just neutral attack here after their debuff. So the boost not really mattering too much as far as my damage output goes, but it makes it so I'm not doing, no damage against this Pokemon, which is pretty nice. And now that I'm at neutral attack here, I think a payback is going to be the play before I get debuffed again. This way I can put them pretty low. Maybe make it so a Mud Bomb could knock him out if we need to. Yeah, it's a decent chunk of damage. So they're at 6 right now. That means they have the Rock Tomb. They're dry after throwing this. Might be a bit of a crazy play, but I'm going to swap here to Annihilate and just ramp up. Okay, there's a Talonflame in the back. But I can go for a Rage Fist here. And I mean, at this point, it's not like I'm in that bad of a spot with my Ufisk into this Talonflame. If they let this go as well, I can just farm down. Yeah, of course they wouldn't. Alright. We think they have Flame Charge here. I mean, either way, I'm going to shield this up. Okay, it is actually on Flame Charge, so a little bit scary. They're at 5 right now. So they have their next Flame Charge ready. I wish I could swap here, but I can't quite. I could swap now, but I don't feel like that would be all that worth it. Oh, they just throw it immediately. I mean, they have to go for a Flame Charge here to do any real damage, and I will shield this up. Okay. You don't often see... Oh, man! Well, that's a game over. Really RPS, I guess, there in the backline against us. Maybe I should have just played for switch advantage in the lead. That could have probably helped us out a little bit. Oh, we got Maxi. Alright, what's Maxi running nowadays? Corviknight into Shadow Caesar. Okay, pretty good lead matchup here. Full team has planned to this. I'd say that this is probably my more consistent Pokemon to take this out with, but we'll see what he wants to do. Whoa. Okay. Alright, so Arctibax here obviously has access to Icy Wind. They can debuff me if they want. I don't know if that's going to make it so I can't farm them down, though. Actually, I don't think I can farm down. That's a little bit annoying. But I will go for the Rage Fist here, because I can boost my attack back up, and either get a shield or a knockout. Probably just a knockout. Oh, he shields, okay. Yeah, we'll shield this up again. I'll be at -1, but if that Shadow Caesar comes back in, they're in a bit of trouble. Where it's not really going to be able to take the damage all that well. They'll probably have to shield. Or maybe just sacrifice it completely. Is it 2? He's sacking, okay. 3, 4, 5. It does survive a little bit better than I would have liked. Whoa. Whoa! That's a little guy right there. I don't know what to think about this. Do I have play against this? I hope I do. I would imagine it's not the worst case scenario for Corviknight, but what is the moveset? Does it have, like, Avalanche? Oh, I get a boost? That's kind of helpful. Maybe should have instantly Air Cuttered if it's an Icy Wind, maybe? I don't know. It is Icy Wind, okay. This thing's actually a little bit scary. That's an odd thing to say, but, like, legitimately, it's kind of unnerving. Okay, I'm just gonna go for another Air Cutter here. I want to put them into a range where I can farm them down, and I don't really know if I could reach a payback here. I get another boost. We've been pretty lucky with the boost here today. Okay, Trailblaze is gonna hurt, but he needs to go for not only a Trailblaze here, but an Icy Wind, and then he needs another Icy Wind against my Corviknight. So he should be in a good spot. Yeah, it's just a bit too low, I think, at this point. Icy Wind likely knocks out. I actually have no idea what the stats on this thing are. So I have no idea what this is going to do. Yeah, we do get knocked out there, but there's no way he has a second. We can just sand attack down. All right, well, that was a crazy team. I don't even know what to say about a Frigibax. Not even like an Arctibax. I guess he had both. All right, well, GG's to our good friend Maxi there. That's insane. All right, next opponent. Let's see if we can pick up a good lead here. We've had some all right luck with leads so far. Okay, that's not quite as lucky, I'll say. But I mean, it's playable. We'll try to dance around this if possible. That's a pretty bad CP on the Ufisk, 1479, so probably not the most efficient stat spread on this thing. I'm going to no-shield the Mud Bomb. They're almost certainly going to swap after this, but I'm just fine kind of chipping things down, desyncing the switch clock a little bit. Alright. Well, the good news is he has to shield this. And there is a chance it's like double flying. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Oh my goodness, they don't shield? Well, I just knock out then. I should get a move off here as well. What? I don't know what to say about that game. Dude, what is happening today? What are these games? I guess Shadow Annihilate is just kind of dumb. I mean, I knew that going into this, but like still. Okay. Okay, next game. We've had some crazy matches so far. Can we keep it up? Okay, what's the moveset here? If it's on Shadow Claw, it's still alright, but, not quite as good. If it's on Dragon Breath, that's really good for us. It is Shadow Claw, so that's going to be a little bit more neutral for them. 6 could be an Ancient Power or a Shadow Sneak. I think I'd expect them to be on Ancient Power for the better coverage. Yeah, and the boost chance, I guess. They're not going to boost, though. That'd be mean. Or it should be 6-6-5 to get to these attacks. Okay, we get the shield. I guess I threw an alignment there. A little bit of a stutter lag on the game's end. I'm going to blame the game for that one. That's not my fault. Okay, dude, what are these boosts? We're actually getting so lucky right now. We got a boost, a CMP, and the shield. So I'm double boosted. Both their shields are gone. They're at 1. And now I just knock them out here. This is insane. Okay, Corviknights let me down in the past with the boosts, but not today. I wouldn't be surprised with like Shadow Caesar in the backline with this. Okay, we win switch and shield advantage, which is pretty nice, saying this is in the back. And I mean, I don't really want to see this with my Annihilate, but my Ufisk destroys this Pokemon. Air Cutter's at +2. It's going to do a non-zero amount of damage. Yeah, I mean, they're down to half HP. That's easily Mud Bomb. Dude, Corviknight! Corviknight, what are you doing, man? That's insane. They're pretty good so far against my Annihilate, though, so we'll see what the final Pokemon is or not. I think it would be a Caesar. I honestly think Caesar is, like, almost guaranteed the final Pokemon there. That was a game. That was so weird. Okay. I'll take it, though. All right, next match. We've had some crazy ones so far. Corviknight into Guzzlord. Okay, pretty neutral lead matchup here. This is weird, though, because my Annihilate is good into this, but my Ufisk is bad into this, so it's like I could be in a better matchup, but I could be in a worse one, too, so we'll see what they want to do here, and they are staying in. I've seen these have, like, Clodsires in the backline in the past, which I wouldn't be super surprised to see now. Okay. Yeah, they're going to go for a Brutal Swing here. They actually pace exactly the same here to the first 3 attacks, but the 4th attack I'd actually outpace to. Alright, they throw pretty much immediately there. What do I want to do? I'm going to play it risky, I think. Well, that was definitely not a bad play then, because they bring in the Shadow Caesar here, and they take a lot of counter damage. It's always a little bit of a coin flip on if you safe swap Annihilate if you're about to be met by the worst thing imaginable, or a very playable matchup. And it seems like this time it was a playable matchup. Look at my counter damage, by the way. It's just completely outpacing the damage of these bullet punches. So while I am down HP in this matchup, the boost really helps here. And Caesar is just so squishy. It's not like Annihilate's bulky, right? But like, it's bulkier, technically. So we just punch through that. We get the shield back. We have an Ice Punch or a Rage Fist. We see Gastro come in. I'm going to boost my attack up here. And it's a good thing that I did save my Corviknight, because this would have been pretty bad in the backline for my Ufisk. And Ufisk can deal with the rest of that one guy, the Guzzlord, that's his name. Alright, I could have paybacked here, but honestly at this point, I just want consistent damage. And we know, I guess today, I get guaranteed boosts on these air cutters, so I might as well go for the boost. Dude! I was kind of joking. Maybe I wasn't, though. Like, maybe I'm actually just on boost mode today. We'll take it. I've wasted all my boost luck here in the first set. This is so bad. Alright, so I know my lose condition here is, like, letting that Gastrodon get a huge farm down against our Ufisk, so I'm gonna let them throw more energy here. It's, okay, I was gonna say they have enough energy for a Dragon Claw, so it definitely could have been, and it was. But now I have enough energy here that I can go for a Mud Bomb against this, a Mud Bomb against the Gastrodon, and by the time I do that, I should be able to swap into my Corviknight and go either for some more faster pressure or an Air Cutter if I can reach that. Alright, big Mud Bomb. It's gonna put this thing down into, well, it would knock it out if it was let go, but they're not gonna let it go. But I have another move ready to go on my Corviknight, and that should be game over. So it was a pretty good thing I saved my Corviknight, right? That Gastrodon in the backline could have been pretty tricky. Luckily, Shadow Annihilate there. Where's my boost? Shadow Annihilate was not hard countered, and sometimes that's what it can do, I guess, in the back. Oh, that was quick? That was our set? I thought we were, like, another game or two. I guess we had, like, a top left that was really early in the match, too, so... Okay, well, 31-66, not a bad start here, but man, we just zoomed by in that set. Alright, next opponent. Can we keep on the good luck streak? No. That is kind of unfortunate to see. With that said, maybe it's a little bit playable. I'm going to stay in for a second here just to try to get a payback off into them. Okay, they do throw energy into us. That's not bad. Because a discharge, while it is super effective, is not the most efficient move in the game. I can no shield survive, go for a payback, and then try to dance around this a little bit. Payback puts them down to about 40% HP if they let it go. If they shield this up, though, I'd be fine with that, too. So they're at 1 right now, 1 away from the next move. Okay, 2. I get a 3 counter lead. They likely swap out here, though. I'm hoping they don't have a Florges. I remember, like, a Chargebug Florges Corviknight team that people used to run. If they stay in, I just counter down. They shouldn't do that. Yeah, okay. That's a really good bait out. Because obviously here, they have to go for Water Pulse to do any real damage against us. And having this away from my Ufisk is a really good thing. And I can actually just go for the Rage Fist again right before their Water Pulse. That pacing is just barely going to work out in our favor. They're at 5 right now, so they have the Water Pulse. They likely go for it here. Because they're not reaching 2 Body Slams anyway. It's going to be a bit of a degen play, but I'm going to shield this up, because I feel like having a double boosted Annihilate that is only 3 counters away from another Rage Fist is still going to have some play here in the back line. I'm going to shield this up, see what they want to bring in. They could bring in Chargebug to get another Volt Switch off against us. But then I guarantee a Rage Fist or an Ice Punch into the back line. Alright, they're thinking for a second. Nice catch. Chargebug is gonna absorb the energy here. And I mean, Ufisk is not ideal into Xylis, but I still have enough HP, I think, on my Corviknight as well as my Ufisk here to still have a lot of play. I basically need to land a Mud Bomb here before I get knocked out. And it will be a little bit close, actually, just because Xylis is a pretty spammy Pokemon, and they got 6 Dragon Breaths before I ended up coming in here. So we'll see. Can I get to a second Mud Bomb here before they can knock us out? Body Slam doesn't do it. Dark Pulse will, though. They can reach it, it looks like. Yeah, that's not ideal, as they say. Unless this is a Body Slam for some reason, but I'm pretty sure it's a Dark Pulse. Yeah. Okay. That's bad. I'm in Body Slam range on my Corviknight. But I might reach an Air Cutter. I do. You're at the move now. I don't know if Air Cutter quite knocks out, but I also don't know if I survive a single Dragon Breath on my Annihilate. Okay, that might work too. I mean, I think I probably would have survived the counter, though. So now I need to be able to Sand Attack down before I get Dragon Breath down, which is possible. But it's going to be close. Let's go. Okay, beat the Chargebug lead. That was very close. Okay, love to see it. Okay, we got our next opponent. Corviknight into Dedenne. Oh no. Okay. I've disrespected this Pokemon for too long. I'm going to swap in my Annihilate here, though, because Annihilate, while it is not great into fairy types, it can do stuff. It can do stuff. So I'm going to shield this up. They're going to go for the Parabolic. I'm going to go for the Rage Fist, and we'll see who comes out on top. Yeah, I would have loved it if they would have decided to go for a Play Rough there. Because then I don't even have to worry about a defense boost, and my counters really start adding up. But, you know, they never do that. So they're at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think they probably go for a Parabolic here. Yeah, so we survive that. We get the Rage Fist off, which, I mean, that should still put them pretty low. They're going to be at 8 right now, so 3. And I'm hoping once this Pokemon's out of the way, I have more play with my Corviknight. Or, okay. I should get a pretty big farm down with Stunfisk unless they swap out. But if they swap, then I... Whoa. If they swap, then I get Disalignment. And, I mean, I was kind of worried that my Ufisk would have no play this game. And it's not like I can't just Sand Attack down that Dedenne, so I'm not in the worst spot here. But it could be a little bit awkward, depending on their final Pokemon still. Because they seem pretty confident that they can beat my Corviknight. And I don't know what they would have in the back that would give them that much confidence. I guess it could be like, I don't know, a Cradilly or something in the back line. They would have to have an actual Ufisk answer. I guess it could be a Mud Slapper, but there's no way it's a Mud Slapper the way they played this out. Okay, what comes in? I mean, it's not going to be Dedenne. There's no way. But they cleared their defense boost, so it's not even going to be that bad for my guy. Okay, it's Annihilate. I just go for another Mud Bomb here. And that should hopefully secure me the game. We'll see. Because they're at 6 right now. If they have close combat, I guess that's a way to lose. Oh, I just Sand Attack through everything. Yeah, I mean, what's this gonna do to me? That was only 7. That's at most a Rage Fist. Well, at most an Ice Punch, I guess, but that's gonna be a Rage Fist. Dude, okay. I saw Dedenne. I thought it was game over the second I saw that Pokemon, but they just disrespected the heck out of Ufisk. And honestly, my own Annihilate was pretty safe into their team, too. Despite the fact that I swapped it into a Fairy type, I guess. Well, yeah, we farmed down. Corviknight didn't really need to do much, but did just enough. Got our next game here. Alright, Corviknight into Florges. Okay. Better than the leads we've been seeing, but Florges is remarkably good in this matchup, and I don't like that. But my backline is remarkably weak to Florges, so I'm happy to see it on my Steel type either way. And we can Air Cutter before their first Chilling Water, because Corviknight is amazing and very spammy. Alright, Air Cutter lands. Do I boost? Where is my boost luck? I must have used it all already today. I guess I can't complain. They're at 6 right now, so 1 past the Chilling Water, 4 away from the next. It's always 5 to reach Chilling Water. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. I'm fine if they're just sacrificing this Pokemon here, but it does kind of concern me that they're staying in. It could mean there's a Pokemon, like, I don't know, a Gastrodon in the back line, something that doesn't want to see a Flying type. 6. Okay, no boost again, which means that my next Air Cutter is going to do a very pitiful amount of damage, but that's fine. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, they are at the Chilling Water. And they do survive this, but I mean, at this point, they're pretty low on HP. 6, 7, 8. It's a little bit annoying that they overfarm that much. If they didn't, I would have actually been able to swap into Annihilate and counter down. Oh, interesting. I didn't actually know Moonblast knocked out there. But that's good. Well, is it good? Not necessarily, but like I can counter this down and get an energy lead. But I'm actually kind of surprised to see a Moonblast there. Good to know, though, that that actually does end up knocking you out. Okay, we see Gastro come in, which is a Pokemon that I did kind of expect to be in the backline the way they were so scared of our other guy. I need to ramp up, and I need to knock out this Gastro as soon as possible. They do shield. 4, 5, 6. Alright. I mean, if I knock this Pokemon out, I'm going to be in a better spot, but like, what if it's a stupid Pokemon like Cradilly in the backline or something? Okay, well, they Body Slam like a Menace. 7. They're going to always shield this up, because at this point, if you shield once, you're going to shield twice. If you're going to no-shield, you might as well no-shield the first. So they're at 3, Or, that's a body slam. I think I survived this. It's not going to be pretty, though. I'm going to swap, though, because they're not going to be able to get anything other than a body slam into my Eufisk. Okay, that's a body slam. I know this. And now my Eufisk has a shield advantage and a catch available if I need it. Okay, overfarm by 2 here, just to get a bit more energy without taking a second Mud Slap. And now we just have to hope that Eufisk in the backline is gonna beat whatever they have. Okay, I don't know about this. Because these drill runs might just knock us out from here, actually. I need 3 Mud Bombs, and they might just need 1 drill run. 6. Alright, so they're at 7 after the next drill out here. I don't even knock them out. Okay, so they have the back-to-back right now. Should have caught, maybe. If this knocks me out, then definitely, which I would imagine it does. I'm not a Clodsire, I'm just a Eufisk. Yeah, I should have caught immediately, but it's such a hard call to make there. I was hoping that they would at least, like, wait a single turn so I could go for, like, the instant throw there, but no. That's unfortunate. Super close game. Eufisk, though, not a lot of play, so had a lot of work to do with Annihilate and Corviknight, just not enough there. Got an instant match. Love to see that. Okay, let's try to win this next one. Florges is actually just so annoying sometimes. Okay, Shadow Caesar, though, much better lead. A Pokemon that I know for a fact I do at least get some sort of advantage from here. Oh no. Guys, it's a Togekiss. What do I do? I feel like this is mean. I shouldn't do this. I'm gonna have a lot of energy now on my Corviknight. I'm gonna have the ability to go for a move as well against that, what's it called? The Caesar when it comes back in. And that's only 5. I know that's not a Dazzling Gleam, so there's never a chance they knock us out. And if somehow a Togekiss can 2 shield farm us down here, then it's not like Caesar wants to really be in a spot where it's gone down 2 shields against anything. They're at 4 right now, so they have an Aura and 1 more move. Let's see what they want to do, though. Do they shield this or let it go? Okay, I farm down. And now the Caesar is going to come in. I get 2 Mud Bombs off against them. Okay, or if this comes in, that's a Quagsire. Interesting. But, I mean, that's probably better for me because I just guarantee 2 Mud Bombs into this as well. I'm just going to swap. There's no reason to stay in. They're at 5 right now, so that's an Aqua Tail. But I just don't really know what they can do at this point. Dream. I'm just going to go Air Cutter spam this game. It's going to give me the most amount of times to potentially boost my attack stat. And, I mean, they have to start shielding. I'm going to outpace everything so drastically here. Or, they actually might survive this. It's going to be like a 1 HP survive if they do. So maybe I can still Sand Attack down. But we'll see. They do get the move. Okay. But, I mean, I'm still in such a good spot. Annihilate, just in any situation, can just shield and tap down the rest of that Caesar. So, there's really no way I lose this. It's just, like, slightly less efficient than I'd like it to be. And I still have a move left over on my Eufisk, so... I guess the only, like, possible scary thing that could happen is, like, what if they boost with the Shadow Caesar here? And then they can, like, I don't know, bullet punch us down, and then, I don't know, do something else? I don't feel like it's going to be a possibility, though. Even if they boost here, I should be able to Sand Attack and counter down. Yeah, no boost happens, so not much they can really do in that game. Caesar is not a problem for this team, and that's honestly a pretty nice thing to see. I've been weak to that Pokemon in the past, and if you're weak to Shadow Caesar, it is miserable. Alright, final game of the set. Corviknight into Alolan Sandslash. Okay. This is going to be interesting, because I would rather see this with my Annihilate, but I bet Corviknight's not that bad here. Sand Attack's actually doing some real damage, which is kind of cool, I guess. 8. Ice Punch, though, will hurt us as well. I've seen a lot of, like, Sandslash double water teams in the past. Okay. You don't see... What is this team? They're so weak to Mud Slap. But also, you don't save swap to Dene. That's what I was, like, in the middle of saying. Um, this is gonna be an interesting match still, though, because I don't know what they have in the backline, and I wouldn't be surprised if the final Pokemon is also a counter to Corviknight. So, we'll see. They went for the player up here, which doesn't even two-shot us. They no-shield that. It's a shame I can't really farm down, but at least I can get a lot of energy still. We'll go for the move right before the next player off, just in case they go for a shield. I can get the shield, and I can still survive the move. And if they no-shield, then I overfarm as much as we can here. Okay. They actually end up CMPing us. I feel like there's not really much of a reason to do anything but shield this attack. You know, I might as well put the pressure on this thing, save my Ufisk just in case I do still need it this game. Alright. Big Mud Bomb. Get a shield. I'm going to swap into Annihilate here just for the counter damage. And fun fact, Annihilate actually wins the one-shield matchup here. Okay. My timing was, like, a little bit scuffed there. So, I wasn't able to throw first. Okay, another Flame Charger, that's fine. I just have so much energy left over on my Corviknight, though, this game, that I don't really know what they can do against us. Yeah, they have to no-shield, but now I just counter this down even. Yeah, alright, let's go. That's kind of a crazy team. They're so soft at the Unova and Stumpfisk. They're soft to Corviknight. Well, not really, I guess. They had two good counters in the backline, but they're like, that is not a classic Sandslash team that I was expecting there. 4-1 set once again. Turns out Annihilate's kind of busted. I swear, every time I use this Pokemon, I see why it is such a broken pick. Medicham back in the day used to be my favorite fighter. I mean, it still is, honestly. I love Medicham, but this Pokemon is undeniably so much better, and basically the only good fighter in the meta. So if you want to give it a go, give this team a try. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.